before I will start, I would like to greet all of you a have a nice day. Today, I will going to discuss the lesson 4 entitled Women in Politics and Decision Making. There are a lot of legal documents that seek to increase women's representation and participation in politics and decision-making spaces. Nationally, women's participation in political and decision-making processes is guaranteed in Article 12, Section 2 of the 1992 Constitution. Women's representation in Parliament growing from 8% in 1992 to 10.8% in 2004 to 8.6% in 2008 and 10% in 2012 and 10.8% in 2016. Parliamentary representation of women growing from 8% in 1992 to 10.8% in 2004 and falling to 8.9% in 2008. Then 10% in 2012 and 10.8% in 2016. Although the number is increasing, there is a critical mass of women needed. A similar situation exists at the district level. In 2006, the elected membership of women was 10.1% and in 2010, there was an administrative quota for 30% women representation, but it's ineffective. In the public service, there is an increasing trend of the appointment of women as a Chief Justice, Electoral Commissioner, and Head of Prison Service among several others. However, they are still very low. So, techniques for promoting women's rights and gender. First, expand and promote the gender parity principle to all the AU organs and not merely the Commission. Second, ensure the participation and representation of women in peace processes, including the prevention and resolution of conflicts and post-conflict. Third, expand and promote the gender parity principle to all the AU organs and not merely the Commission. Fourth, ensure the participation and representation of women in peace processes, including the prevention and resolution of conflicts and post-conflict. Fifth, ensure the active promotion and protection of the human rights of women and girls. 7. Protect the property and inheritance rights of women. 8. Expand the education of women and girls, particularly in rural areas. 9. Gender policies. 10. Affirmative action. 11. Quotas. 12. Reserve sets. 13. Changes in electoral systems. 13. Gender budgeting. 14. Capacity building and training. 16. Women manifestos. And the last one is the political party manifestos. So, means that each gender is represented equally, which consists in ensuring the process of women and men to the same opportunities and rights while respecting their specificities. For the conflicts often force women to organize themselves to safeguard basic necessities and to carry out activities related to, for example, education and healthcare. So, how do you promote gender parity? Well, through equal treatment that is integrated into steering processes. So, next will be the implications for women in politics. So, first, a women's fund to support women aspirants in parliamentary and presidential elections. Second, allocate 10% of public funds to political parties directly to women aspirants. Third, Parties should significantly reduce filing fees for women contestants in parliamentary and presidential primaries. Fourth, political parties desist from sexist and abusive remarks directed at women aspirants and also against those seeking public office. Fifth, apply the law on defamation of character to party leaders and members. Sixth, political parties should advocate for legal backing for affirmative action. Seventh, political parties should back the public funding of political parties bill. Next, political parties provide capacity building for women aspirants and women after they were successfully elected into parliament. This ensures their effective participation in parliamentary deliberations. Next, political parties retain sitting female MPs during successive parliamentary elections and replace sitting female MPs who decided not to contest with other female contestants. Next, newly created constituencies are reserved for women contestants only for a period of 2 consecutive terms. Next, parties to field women in an at least 50% representation of safe parliamentary seats. Next, a safe seat being that the party has won in at least 3 consecutive general elections by a margin of over 50%. Next, demand that political parties work towards a target of 50% representation of women. Next, to be present at the levels of the base structures and committees that choose candidates for primary elections. So, the next topic will be the challenges for promoting gender. First, resistance to deviations from the societal standards and norms. Second, based either on fear for negative reactions from the social environment and the dominant culture, which is the ideology and religion, or on one's own self-image. Next will be the resistance based on power relations. Then, fear that another group will take over and affect the status, power, influence, and other privileges enjoyed by the grouping resisting change known as vested interest. Next will be the resistance based on power relations. Fear that another group will take over and affect the status, power, influence, and other privileges enjoyed by the groupings resisting change known as vested interest. Next will be the psychological resistance. Fear for loss of security, feelings of guilt, doubts about one's own capacities, low self-esteem, lack of identification with women's interest, which is the gender is seen as feminism in disguise, and feminism is regarded as too aggressive and too radical. So, all these demands seek for a reformatory agenda to do away with patriarchal authority, promote women's rights, have a society based on gender equality and inclusive democratic system, equality, peace, and development. So, this is Regine May M. Lacson, your reporter for today. Thank you for listening.